Okay. Oops. 3 minutes. Calvin, how are you this evening, sir? Yeah, there's only one Calvin in the room.
Oh, well,
You thought you were going to sneak in, did you?
I thought I did.
How are you doing this evening, sir?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost got wet.
Almost got wet. Not on time. I hear you. I got 6 o'clock. I'd like to bring the meeting to order, please. I'd like to start this evening with bringing the meeting to order, and I would entertain a motion at this particular point in time to approve the April 22nd meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the April 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Also would entertain a motion to accept the May 1st special budget meeting workshop minutes.
Motion to approve the May 1st, 2024 special budget meeting workshop.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Okay, we're going to start first with, I'd like to start with the clerk's report. I'd like to get the business out of the way at the beginning of the meeting. Let's get all city business out of the way, and then we can start conducting business other than, okay? Example being, the first 5 items on here has to do with city business. You know, we need to get things done. We got work to do. We have payroll to approve, we have business to approve, we have payments to approve, things of that nature. That's what this first section, we're going to start doing it. So at this particular point, I would like Mindy to go ahead and give us your clerk's report, please.
The school fund income was $589.32. Expenses $316,160.81, and I had vouchers totaling $603,401.24.
Okay, do I have any questions? I entertain a motion to approve the vouchers in whole.
Motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $603,401.24.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay, resolution 130. Mindy has brought to it, Mindy and Karen had went to a financial class. They'd come back from the financial class with some recommendations that was made to the city based on expenditures, credit limits, and signature limits. And this resolution 130 is to hereby repeal resolution number 129. Okay, and it is as such as that anything that requires over $5,000 must be signed by 2 authorized check signatures. Okay, all checks and transactions in the amount of 5,000 or greater must be signed by 2 authorized signers listed, which over that amount, one member would be a governing body member. That means it would be myself or one of the other council that would be listed on the account. In the past, we did not have this check and balance in place. Mindy, do you want to add anything to this, please? Everybody understand it? I would entertain a motion to accept resolution number 130.
Motion to adopt resolution 130, repealing resolution 129, and authorizing certain individuals to sign checks, transfer funds, and make certain expenditures for the city of Linn Valley, Kansas.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mindy, you got your approvals. Okay, we go to sewer report, and I don't believe we have a sewer report. However, if you'll go to section 4, the 3rd page, part of what we would see, what we could see in that sewer report would be the metering that we're taking reads on that has to do with the low pressure sewer on POA high volume areas like clubhouse, community center, bathhouse 2. Those are the 3 that are currently operating. It gives us an idea to their total use and collections. So the more we know, the more we understand as a total, as a council, guys, the better, the more common sense conversations we can have with the public. Okay, so, and these are just since January. So, okay. Without the rest of the sewer report, let's move to codes, number 4. We start out with a nuisance report. Do we have any questions from the council for Steve regarding this report? Steve, do you have anything on the council, for the council regarding your report?
Not on the nuisance, no,
Okay.
just on the building code. We approved 72 out of 78 permits so far this year. And the total inspections that we've gone on in April was 36 permit inspections. And to date, we've been on 149 inspections.
Pretty busy.
To say the least.
Anything council might have for Steve again? Steve, thank you very much. It takes time and effort to do all this work and then put it together. Thank you and Jenny both. Okay, no other questions. Let's move to section 5, public safety report. Corey.
I don't have anything to add to it unless you have any questions there.
Council, do you have any questions for Corey this month? With all that being said, let's move on. We have a special guest here tonight, Joel Perry with Inwell Architect. He's been invited by Dan and Robert to introduce himself, and this is part of our City Hall discovery and where we're going next and what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. Joel, if you'd like to step up and speak on behalf of your company, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
You have a packet for everyone?
I do, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This is all just eye candy, of course. We don't, had some preliminary conversations with Dan and Robert about the program and what you guys are wanting to accomplish. Obviously, we haven't dug into any of this, but just maybe a notion of how it might look or feel. Felt like the best way to introduce you guys what we do is to give you a little bit of a sample of what that might feel like. So we've been in business 15 years and specialize in residential and small commercial construction, or architecture and design. So happy to answer any questions you guys have, and I'd be delighted to get to know each of you a little bit more as well.
Could you kind of just describe your scope of work on the project, what you would cover
Yeah,
in architecture?
What's normal in our industry is what we call design bid build, meaning that you hire an architect and a cadre of engineers to help you get a set of drawings together, and then bid that out to multiple contractors. We provide full services. We're fully licensed and insured, so we would do an initial schematic design process to sort of establish the program, better understand the needs of the city, and then begin to develop a plan that would hopefully meet those needs. That'd be an interactive process. We tend to try and do that live with you more than just, go to our little cloistered room and draw it up and say, here you go. So it's very interactive. And once we kind of establish a plan that looks like it's meeting the needs, and we can really begin to develop both an initial kind of concept of budget as well as dig into what that looks like in 3 dimensions and elevations and models. And then if we all feel really good about where that is from a design standpoint and from a rough budget standpoint, then that's a good moment in time to sort of kind of take the pulse of everything. We're ready to move forward. We'll jump into construction documents, which we would do full construction documents, and then once construction began, would be available as part of our fee for construction administration or observation as well. So if there are questions, concerns during construction, we'd also be available for that. And I do have a sample kind of just letter of agreement. It is not a contract, but it's sort of how we generally do business. And I'm happy to pass those out as well. But it gives you a little bit of an idea of our fee structures, what's included in our work, maybe what's not. And if you have any questions on that, I'd be delighted to answer them, whether tonight or email or anything like that.
Does that pretty well outline your fee structure on
Yeah.
on the letter?
Joel, what's your company's history working with cities?
Well, we obviously coordinate with all the different municipalities in Kansas City on our work, but in terms of actually working for a city, we've not done that before.
I guess my question with that is, I would apologize, but cities, we move slow. Sometimes things don't move as aggressively as quick as we'd like to see them sometimes. And that becomes frustrating sometimes to contractors and people that have to work with cities, especially smaller cities. We don't have big bank accounts, so we don't have a lot of big backup bank accounts per se. So opportunities to search and help us with maybe grant findings for such a project.
I'm
You
gonna
sure?
be honest, I don't have a lot of resources there. I'd be delighted to help in whatever way I can. But truthfully, I don't have a lot of connections.
That's not a problem. That's something cities, you know, that's our responsibility to when they go acquire those things. So often it helps when other people can suggest and help us with that. That's all I would have was PAR study or feasibility study. What's your thought on, because that's part of the project, as far as resolution was concerned, we would do a feasibility study. You know, so,
You would do a cost analysis on the building and,
Yeah, in some ways, that's a little bit what this initial stab is about. It's just beginning to understand what that square footage need is. Dan and Robert did a good job of sort of giving me really good guidelines there, but in terms of how it lays out, you know, we get an idea of the range of the need and then begin to be able to back into cost numbers. I'll be really honest with you guys. I'm a creative by nature. I have a little bit of a loose tether on reality, right? I pretend to understand what things cost. I've been at this a long time, but I'm wrong about 100% of the time. So really that information ultimately has got to come from whoever's on the line to build it. What I can do is use the information that I have based on my experience to give you some really rough guidelines in terms of cost per square foot. And Dan and I discussed that maybe a little bit additionally, kind of as well as overall budget range.
that wasn't a question we inquired with the last group. The last group was the cost per square foot or anything of that nature. Right now, the council itself still has the hard decision to make, and that's the exact amount of money that they're prepared to spend on this. So,
Right.
which we will be getting to real soon, I would add.
That'll obviously guide the conversation.
Okay.
Chasing rainbows is fun up to a moment, and then it starts to get to be less fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. Council, questions? It's a nice draft you put together. I thought it was a nice floor plan, or there's a nice floor plate to it.
yeah, I like the elevation, the way it looks like it would fit into
Yeah.
Linn.
So looks like you started the work, sir. No, it's good work.
Okay.
Joel, you have anything else for us?
Dan knows how to get a hold of me. As you get a chance to absorb some of that information, both the fee structure and a little bit of what's there, please feel free to reach out. I'm a naturally collaborative guy, so happy to help in whatever way I can.
Appreciate that. Council? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. Be in touch with you.
Guys, I thought just a little bit more than we got from the B&G side. Gives us a little better picture. And again, none of this comes at a cost. This is just an ideal that we're getting here. Dan and Robert, thank you very much for bringing Joel in to share this with us, to help us in the next decisions we have to make. Okay, we have on the agenda Annette Hawkins. She's here to discuss our burn pile with us. Ma'am, if you'd step forward and go ahead and address the
So just
council.
wanted to kind of start a conversation. I'll be having this conversation with the POA Saturday as well, and what we can do to have access to a burn pile at least maybe 1 weekend a month, especially when we get to the season where we're gonna be having auctions. A lot of people are gonna be coming in and picking up lots. They need to burn debris, they need to burn leaves, clippings, things like that, and we don't have regular access like a lot of other most cities do to take someplace. I know some cities recycle them, they take limbs and things and they make them into mulch and then give mulch to residents. I know Latha does that. So just don't know what we can do to start the conversation and start the process to have some type of access program to get rid of grass clippings, tree trimmings, things like that. I know in Paola, I think I gave some pictures. That's what we saw in Paola. They have that little area next to their water station where people can come drop off yard waste. And don't know what they do with it, because we just saw that when we were driving through Paola one day, but it looked like a good maybe solution. If we could come up with something like that, obviously it would have to be monitored, because for some reason we can't all be adults and follow the rules. To drop off only what is supposed to be allowed in there. But just want to kind of start a conversation to see what we need to do, or what progress we can make, or process we can put in place to kind of start the ball rolling.
I think that was part of the problem last time when we opened the burn pile. People were dumping other things that, they shouldn't have in the burn pile. But
And some people just take them and drop them off on an empty road somewhere, on a dirt road.
Right,
It's
right,
not my problem, I'm done.
right.
As a Linn County resident, you can take it to the, I know it's a long way to Prescott, you can dump, that yard waste for free.
Oh, really?
Yep, sure can. I know it'd be more convenient if we had one here.
That was just what I wanted to discuss and kind of start the conversation to see what we can do to try to get something going.
Council, any questions?
Well, as Councilman Donald has brought up, we had some issues in the past. Corey, can you speak to those as far as some of the different things we were running into with the burn pile in the past?
Like Dan said, yeah, it's the minute we left it unattended, we ended up with shingles, bed mattresses, and it's the same issue the POA ran into when they had a burn pile. And they tried everything, cameras and signs, and the state ended up coming in and shutting them down because of the repeated issues of just, they show up to inspect it and there's a bunch of garbage there that isn't supposed to be there, was the biggest issue. And then, as far as us maintaining it or monitoring it, we were doing that for a while, once or twice a month, where the fire department would have somebody there to watch it while things were being done. And that worked well, other than it's pretty hard to get people to volunteer to go up there and sit and watch it for 4 or 5 hours a day, every other weekend or something. And then it started falling to being just one person that ended up constantly having to be there because you couldn't find anybody else to do it. And we're not opposed to opening it up when, a lot of places, as you mentioned, they have burn pits, but a lot of cities also have dump sites that they only open after storms, things like that, where they'll allow you to come in and dump. And that certainly would be the case here if we had storm damage, that large amounts of brush and trees that need to be brought in there. And I think the only other issue we had was, I believe our ordinance on that burn pit also stated we would not accept any commercial dump
Businesses.
because the tree companies are charging you to get rid of that stuff, and then they're just bringing it up here and dumping it on us to deal with. And it's, when you get big trees in there to burn, that's not a matter of just setting it on fire and waiting a couple hours, it's gone. They will burn for days, and that's the biggest issue with it. So, but I certainly appreciate what you're trying to do with this, and
And it may
I
be
mean-
something where we can do with the POA, and like people we were talking before, is maybe get a committee of people who can get some people who would be willing to
Sure.
volunteer.
And we have intentions of opening it periodically throughout the spring and summer. We just haven't set dates yet, and we would certainly make that public when we do want to do that. We just have, unfortunately, it's like you said, people just don't follow the rules. The second they get the opportunity to get away with something, we'll end up with it. Paint cans, and it's a nightmare, because then we've got to deal with it.
Much like the dumpster.
Yeah, just like the
We don't have any problems at the dumpster, come on.
We've written a lot of tickets up at the dumpster, or had people go back up there and pick the stuff up that they've left there, and it still doesn't stop it, unfortunately.
I believe we also had a limit on the size of logs that we
We did,
weren't allowed to
yeah.
dump there too.
Yeah.
They were 10 or 12 inches. I'd have to look at the ordinance.
And you try to get it,
So,
yeah, and I think we have that with the diameter, and then we were trying to get everybody to make sure it was in 6-foot lengths or less, just to make it easier to deal with.
it's nice of Corey to want to put some days together to help, but that's just a small part of the solution. I would suggest, again, to the council and to the public, to have this conversation, and I have discussed this with public, with a citizens committee, to possibly do that with the right group of people. Corey would show interest in maybe allowing that committee to open it on days that didn't require 100% his department supervision. Again, we have to remember our volunteer department or volunteers are just that, they're volunteers.
Yep.
And although they get called out and they get paid for that call out, a lot of this stuff that we're volunteering them up for service and stuff, although they get paid, they have families at home too. They have full-time jobs. We're trying to do this together. So the application here sounds great. The community wants to help with the city to try to resolve a problem we all seem to have and that we'd all like to solve. So, council, okay with working on it under.
I think the committee idea is probably pretty good. If you can put a citizens committee together where you have volunteers and maybe get some training through Corey, you can go out there and
See what we can come up with on that. You're gonna be going to the POA. We'll find out what they have to say also.
Because I think they got their own. I think the POA got another burn pit, but it's specifically for their stuff. They got another license, but they don't allow any dumping there at all.
And maybe do some sort of special payment on that for the fire department volunteers that do monitor it or whatever, instead of just a single call for 4 to 8 hours a day or something. Something to consider.
It is something to consider. Anything else? John? Mike?
We're with you on it, isn't it?
thanks,
All that
Annette.
matters.
Thanks, Annette.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that completed, let's move to number 8, ordinance 255. We've been working on this for a while, and I believe that it has been corrected in red. Mindy?
We had a folder up for permits and added the impact fee refund on that.
Under section 108,
108.6.
under section 108.2.5, there's no permits. Still need to be non-structural concrete and driveways.
I'm sorry, where are you?
Bottom of the first page, 108.25,
On the top of the second page.
so there's no permit fees.
What did you want me to?
Non-structural concrete pads and driveways.
Is there two or just one?
Driveway. And I guess we can approve with just those changes there.
Anyone else have anything else to?
And that includes patios and everything like that.
You're not,
Non-structural.
what was that, Dan? I'm sorry.
I just asked if that includes patios and everything, all kinds of concrete slabs.
It should not. It should only, I mean, what I understand with the concrete that we don't need a permit for is if we're working in our yard and you want to put in a pad for a water fountain, you want to put in a pad for a fire pit, or you want to do something as such. If you're building a pad that becomes abatable as part of your patio becomes part of your house, that requires a permit.
Well, I think Mike was talking about driveways and stuff too, so.
That's what we agreed on.
Well, that's what we had before was the non-structural concrete and driveways were on that list of
Right.
no permit.
Right.
See, like, I built a garage and then poured the concrete floor in it, so it's non-structural, because the garage is not setting on it.
Anything else we need to change or the council would like to see changed or added? Okay, entertain a motion to pass ordinance number 255 with the following changes in section 108, 108.2.5 to add non-structural and concrete pads to that section.
And driveway. Motion to approve ordinance number 255.
We're gonna include, and we're gonna include driveways.
Are skid sheds on here?
No, they ain't on there either, are they?
Are we gonna permit skid sheds too, or
Pardon?
are we gonna allow skid sheds too without a permit, or?
We were supposed to.
I believe that's supposed to be in here, yes. Yes, sir.
Do we have the other ordinance where we actually put in the list of things we are taking off the? Because I think it'd be easier to get that list and then just mark culverts out, put that list in there.
The problem is that's what's going on now. We have changed and moved the body of words around in this so much that everyone has forgotten what was in there and why it was in there. You know, so it doesn't sound like we're ready to pass ordinance number 255. It'll get moved to another meeting, the first meeting of June. We'll attempt it again. Meanwhile, what I would like to do at this particular point in time, without fail, let's discuss it. What are we going to add to this ordinance 255? What are we going to remove? This was all about trying to save the public permit fees and them not having to turn in applications.
Do we have any issues, Steve, with skid sheds?
No, I mean, if the state's anything below 240 square feet, that's not required. But that is can be total combined, so if you have two sheds that exceed that, you can't allow that.
Have we had any problems with people putting their skid sheds on other people's property or over their property line?
Easement issues.
Not really yet, no.
Here's the list on ordinance 244 of the things we took off. I think would be easiest just to remove E from the list and
Yeah, because that's what we agreed to last meeting. We were just gonna add culverts on, nothing else.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
Okay, Mindy, that would be correct. However, there was a legal section Jamie had that he wanted changed. Is that in?
That's the refund.
that's it. Refund.
That's the
Okay,
refunds.
Okay.
So it's clearly showing what it should be and shouldn't be.
I would ask the council to pass the ordinance, make a motion for ordinance 255. This will replace 254, 244, I'm sorry. What we will do is just remove item E that says culverts. Because everything else would maintain to be the same. We wouldn't change anything. We wouldn't have added or taken any conversation away from it there. The only thing we've changed at this point is culverts. Would you agree?
Yeah, whatever Jamie wanted.
We're going to actual permit culverts again, and then the language on 108.6 has been changed. And yes, I'd be willing to adopt the resolution with those updates. Here, I'll show you. But I'm saying that if we put this exact list back in without culverts, you want to see that? The original list.
I'm ready.
Okay. So we want to do that?
I would entertain a motion to pass ordinance 255. The only thing we need to do is in ordinance 254 is to remove culverts.
Wow.
And what?
Yeah.
And the addition we added to section 108.6.
Motion to approve ordinance 255 with the adjustments to section 108.2.5 to match ordinance 244 minus culverts.
Entertain a second.
A second.
Well, how about the last part?
I'm going to pass it the way it is
Okay.
with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this
listing.
part, this
Yeah, I got
part's
you.
correct, rest of it's
I'll
correct.
second that.
All in
Should already
favor, or
second it.
conversation? Any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Project reports. Let's start with the water project. I would like to start with letting everybody know that the contractor that works for Caldwell, that done the concrete in the very beginning, be sending a company up to grade and seed around our water tower. Timing doesn't make sense to me, but it's part of the KDHE criteria for them, so it's something they have to do. So that will be taking place, Corey, for your department and for everyone in the city that, we may not know who they are, but there'll be companies coming in probably wanting to look at the property to bid it. Also was informed by B&G that the plans have been returned from the KDHE for the water project. There are some corrections required, but those corrections are mostly has everything to do with descriptions. You know, as far as the plan itself, apparently it's approved. There's just some language descriptions that needed to be taken care of. That's our current update on that. And I don't think we have an update other than they're continuing to work on, they're still working on the easement, correct, Jamie?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions for the water project? Or anybody want to add to this or bring anything to light?
Were you given any indication of when we will ever put it up for bid?
We do not. We won't. I'm hoping that B&G will be, we should know something in the next 30 days. We also know, we found out that B&G has also hired a new engineer. And that the engineer will probably be taking over Southeast Kansas. So we may be getting the introductions to a new engineer real soon too. So, but either which way, B&G is in front of all this right now. So
Did they give a status update on the transmission lines from LC to here? The booster pumps and all that?
no. So wastewater.
Water. I spoke with Wesley today before he came up here. I wanted to get an update. Wesley, they're still working on the construction drawings for the final drawings for the sewer lagoons. He said they'll probably be complete by the end of the month, and they'll submit those to KDHE for permitting. And we'll probably have him back in here on June 10th for the next council meeting, so he can kind of go over the final drawings and maybe some remarks from KDHE.
Not a problem. City Hall, we spoke to two different contractors now. I would advise the council, we need a 15-minute executive session to discuss contract. Both of these companies came to us with contractual provisions and would like to take 15 minutes for the council to discuss this in executive session. We would go to executive session at 6:36. And return at 6:51. Entertain a motion.
Motion to move to legal executive session for discussion of contracts, to return at 6:51.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, 6:51, I'd like to bring the meeting back to order. There were no decisions made in executive session. And we do have a meeting, so that everybody knows, we have a meeting that is scheduled for May 20th. As of right now, budget is the only conversation on the meeting agenda, along with, well, the council on the 20th will be making some final budget decisions for you to go to the county next month. Okay, so do we have anything else that we want to add to the city hall topic, please? Okay, nothing there. I'd like to move to old business. Anyone has any old business? Okay. How about new business? We got any new business tonight? I have, George would like us to announce for him that we have a Memorial Day ceremony Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. It's a real nice Memorial Day ceremony. The community comes out, gets involved. George is a big participant in our memorial services up here, and it turns out to be a real nice day for everybody. Anything you'd like to add, George?
Anybody has any American flags that are no longer serviceable, bring them and we will properly retire them.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, that new business being concluded. Do we have anything else regarding new business? Council, I'd like to thank you for being here tonight. I'd like to thank you for sharing, joining in, and we have these conversations. Again, let's get out there, let's talk to the people, let's have a great understanding of what we think the people expect of us and what we need to take care of. So that this council knows on the 15th, the day after tomorrow, we have a informal POA meeting with just a few of the POA members. It's going to be with the president of the council, Dan Donham, our employees. It'll be with Pam, 2 board members, and a few of their employees. It's operational. It's about discovery. We're going to have conversations, and we'll bring them all back to the council to help us move forward with any of those things we need. Had Mindy reach out to 3 of you today, and if you have anything you'd like me to discuss with the POA, please get it sent to me. Again, I could not do that without creating quorum, but in this meeting, I just send it in to Mindy, and I'll get that, we'll get it discussed. Naturally, Corey will be there. I do know that his presence is a big part of this conversation. So, okay, that's what I know is taking place this week. One last time, do I have anything else? Thanks again, council. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned. Thanks, guys.